When the Galactic Peace Council first approved the Human-Cadium Cultural Exchange Initiative, no one anticipated disaster. Least of all Commander Orlo, a reptilian agriculturist with a pristine record and a quiet posting on the temperate moons of Marant 4. The humans, they said, were curious, energetic, and mostly harmless. Mostly being the key word. Commander Orlo's assignment was simple: host 3 human cadets for an agricultural training cycle. Nothing military, nothing political, and certainly nothing involving warships. Just plants, drones, and peace. But from the moment the humans arrived, peace began to look more like a casualty. Cadets Jacob, Ethan, and Lucas stepped off their transport with backpacks slung, jokes flying, and eyes wide with wonder. Orlo, whose scales bristled at even moderate disruption, immediately knew they were trouble. Their uniforms were wrinkled, their boots muddy, and their attention spans dangerously short. "Welcome to Marant 4, Orlo had said through gritted mandibles, trying to remain cordial. "You will be working under my supervision. Tasks include drone-assisted soil turning, hydronutrient regulation, and the preservation of cinderthorn blooms. Do not deviate from assigned parameters."
Ethan grinned. "You got it, sir.
Just point us to the dirt." And so it began. The first week passed in barely contained chaos. Lucas hacked the drone system to play Earth music while plowing. Jacob insisted on experimenting with companion planting, based on something he read on a survival forum. Ethan, to Orlo's horror, began fermenting jade gourd sap, just to see what happens.
Still, crops grew. Reports were filed.
Orlo told himself it would all be over in 30 standard days. Then they found the ship. It began when a ground survey drone went missing near the forbidden southern ridge, a zone marked pre-FTL era, off limits. Naturally, the humans asked what was down there. Naturally, Orlo said it was off limits. Naturally, the humans went anyway. What they discovered was buried beneath layers of dust and root, a Cadium warship, long believed lost in the silent rebellion 1,000 years ago. Its hull was scarred, its systems dormant, its weapons decommissioned, supposedly. When Orlo discovered them climbing over it, Ethan was already halfway through rebooting the power core. "What is the meaning of this?" Orlo shrieked, his throat frill pulsing in alarm. "It was just sitting here," Jacob replied. "Would have been rude not to say hi. It's a historical relic."
Orlo snapped.
"It is not to be tampered with." Lucas waved a handheld console.
"Too late.
"We got partial systems online. It even plays old Cadium marching songs.
Pretty catchy."
Orlo demanded they shut it down.
They promised they would. They did not.
That night, Orlo filed a priority report to Cadium Command. It bounced back with a delay message: non-lethal civil incident. Review scheduled in 48 hours. By morning, the ship was gone. Orlo woke to the sound of thruster blasts and saw the warship, sleek and deadly, lifting off from the field with the 3 humans aboard. Rows of jade gourds were incinerated in its wake. A trail of smoke marked its arc toward the upper atmosphere.
Panic gripped him.
The Enzian Empire's nearest colony, a planet of towering apex predators, was just 1 light jump away. And that's exactly where the ship was headed. Frantic, Orlo raced to the FTL terminal. Bureaucratic security protocols delayed his emergency transmission by 15 agonizing minutes. When he finally got through to the human fleet, the image of a relaxed captain sipping from a cup labeled coffee filled the screen. Orlo hissed, "3 of your cadets have commandeered an ancient warship and are en route to Enzian territory." The captain raised a brow. "Jacob, Ethan, and Lucas?"
"Yes. Yes, them."
"Ah. That explains it."
"Explains?"
"They've committed several treaty violations. They're heading toward apex predators with stolen tech." The captain made a note off-screen. "Sounds like they're showing initiative." "Showing initiative?"
"Sure.
We sent them to train with a non-warrior species for a reason. Sometimes you've got to shake things up. You said they were heading to Enzian space."
"Yes."
The captain gave a casual shrug.
"They'll be fine.
Submit a full report through the usual channels."
The screen went dark.
Orlo stood trembling, staring at his reflection. His scales had developed stress spots. The red moon hung above, uncaring. Somewhere in orbit, 3 humans were heading straight toward what could only be described as an interstellar incident. He returned to the now-scorched agricultural fields, dreading the coming days.
Reports had to be written. Damage catalogued. Lives explained.
Perhaps if he got there early tomorrow, he could convince himself this had all been a vivid hallucination. But peace, as always, was a fragile illusion.
2 days later, the ship returned.
Only it wasn't so much a return as it was a catastrophic crash. The warship re-entered the atmosphere like a wounded predator, trailing smoke and sparks. It skidded through the eastern quarter of the field, tearing a furrow through rows of rare cinderthorn blooms. When it finally halted, half buried in rich soil, Orlo's soul wept. And then came the arguing. I told you the approach angle was too steep. Ethan's voice rang from within the wreck. Jacob shot back, you spilled moonshine on the NAV controls. Both of you shut up, he's coming.
The hatch opened.
All three humans emerged looking battered, singed, and somehow grinning. Jacob had face paint. Ethan had no jacket. Lucas clutched a musical instrument made of ship parts. And then, the voice that nearly stopped Orlo's hearts, giggling, from inside the ship. Orlo's throat frill flared wide. What was that? Lucas shifted to block the hatch. Equipment settling? The hatch hissed again, revealing a tall Enzian female in ceremonial armor, bottle in hand, smile dangerously radiant. You must be the uptight one, she purred at Orlo.
3 more followed.
Armor askew. Head crests adorned with flowers. One winked at Lucas. Orlo staggered. You made first contact. With Enzians. Over drinks? Jacob gave a thumbs up. Also courtship rituals. You corrupted apex predators. We prefer enlightened, said the Enzian nearest Ethan, draping an arm around him. And then Orlo passed out cold. When Commander Orlo regained consciousness, he was surrounded by the scent of scorched soil, alien perfume, and the echo of laughter, human and Enzian alike. His eyes fluttered open to a scene no training manual could have prepared him for. A banquet was underway on what used to be a precision-harvested nutrient terrace. Long tables, fashioned from warship panels, were lined with humans, Enzians, and a few confused Cadium drones serving roasted root beasts and fermented jade gourd drinks. Lucas had turned an old reactor coil into a barbecue grill. Jacob was arm wrestling an Enzian male 3 times his size. Ethan was making out behind a plasma cannon. Orlo sat up, rubbing his temple. By the stars, what fresh treaty violation is this? Oh, you're up, chirped Lucas, bounding over with a drink. Try this. It's what we're calling a molten moonshine margarita. Tastes like treason. Orlo slapped the cup aside. You've hosted a diplomatic banquet on sacred agricultural land. Relax, said Jacob, joining them. It's a cultural exchange. They loved it. They're even talking peace talks. Peace? With Enzians. Ethan stumbled into view, lipstick on his neck, holding a tablet. Turns out, they've been waiting centuries for someone to approach them without fear or formality. All we had to do was crash a stolen warship, offer food, play music, and flirt like maniacs. Orlo stared at them, speechless. Then the Enzian commander stepped forward. General Shura was tall, lean, and terrifying, at least to anyone not human. Her ceremonial armor was now worn over a human-style bomber jacket. She gave a respectful bow. Commander Orlo. I thank you. Without your unconventional cadets, we might never have known the pleasures of burnt root and off-key singing. What? I didn't authorize, this is illegal. Orlo spluttered. She smiled. We prefer the term adaptive diplomacy. Your cadets have awakened something ancient in us. Humor. Curiosity. Competitive karaoke. A nearby drone floated over with a recording of Jacob and Shura singing a horrific duet. Orlo covered his ear holes. Shura leaned in. There is talk among my generals. If these humans can approach us as equals, without fear, perhaps we no longer need to be predators. Lucas whispered to Orlo, see? We might have just ended 1,000 years of standoffish tension. By crashing a war relic and throwing a party? Orlo hissed. Jacob grinned. Hey, peace is peace. Just then, a boom echoed through the skies. A new ship entered atmosphere, sleek, obsidian, and stamped with the sigil of the Intergalactic Ethics Tribunal. Orlo went pale. That's bad, he muttered. The ship landed with judicial authority. Out stepped an inspector bot, 6 glowing red eyes and a voice like a disappointed librarian. Unregistered weapon discharge. Unauthorized excavation. Alien courtship protocol violations. Explain yourselves. Orlo began, I can explain nothing. I was unconscious for most of it. Lucas stepped up, waving a spoon like a gavel. We demand a trial by diplomatic roast. What? It's a human tradition, Jacob said solemnly. We call it, justify your shenanigans. To Orlo's horror, the tribunal agreed.
A makeshift court formed.
Enzians sat on one side, cadets on the other. Orlo was named reluctant witness. The charges were listed. The evidence was overwhelming.
Theft of Acadium relic.
Interference in pre-hostile diplomacy. Awakening ancient weapons systems. Inciting romantic entanglement with apex warriors. Orlo thought it was over. Then Shura stood and spoke. Before you pass judgment, understand what happened. We were a race locked in our own savagery. Feared, isolated, and primed for war. And then these fools, these chaotic food-burning rule-breaking humans, treated us like people.
Not predators. Not enemies. Just friends. A hush fell.
Even the tribunal paused. Shura continued, "Is that not what your treaties are meant for?" The inspector bot buzzed quietly.
Emotion detected.
Calculating value. Lucas whispered to Orlo, "Is it working?"
Don't encourage them, Orlo hissed.
The bot finally declared, "Violation of multiple codes, confirmed. But primary outcome, interspecies diplomacy achieved. Verdict, sanctioned exception." The humans cheered. An Enzian couple high-fived.
Orlo fainted again. Weeks later,
the fields of Marant 4 had changed. What was once a pristine training outpost had become a joint research colony. Human and Enzian scientists now collaborated on biotech, agriculture, and ancient ship restoration. The trio, Jacob, Ethan, and Lucas, had been promoted to cultural ambassadors, a title Orlo insisted was a cosmic mistake. Commander Orlo himself received a medal for unintentional bravery during unscheduled first contact. He displayed it behind his desk, right next to a framed photo of the humans holding their drinks and saluting with their feet in the air. The ancient warship was now a museum piece, surrounded by thriving cinderthorn gardens and a plaque that read, "What could go wrong?" At night, the humans still gathered with their Enzian companions, laughing under starlight, rewriting the legacy of a species once feared. Peace, it seemed, came not through careful treaties or cautious protocols, but through absurd courage, wild improvisation, and humans being exactly who they were.
And Orlo?
He retired early. Bought a cabin on a moon with no humans.
Grew tomatoes.
But every now and then, he'd look at the stars and mutter, "What could go wrong indeed?"